Because what I've seen of it's always like kind of like waist up.
Yeah. He's stepping side to side in a skating motion, but
kind of like a dance, like a salsa dance, right?
It's usually like waist up.
He's also got like full pads. He's got the helmet on. If you've seen the segment, he's got some gloves or wrist protection. He's got one elbow pad. Smiling more than he ever smiles.
I like this segment a lot. This is like Chris's wheelhouse.
What, skating by?
It's great.
Yeah.
Taylor just realized they're on camera.
No, not only that, it took the video team 7 hours to switch to him.
And he's out of breath too, by the way. He just took 2 deep breaths.
I'm gonna tell him to leave the pads on while he comes into Mystery Crate.
Aw. Well, whenever I see it on my feed, I stop and I watch it, and I want to know who's skating. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, follow Le Batard Show on Twitter, Instagram.
You probably already do if you're listening to Mystery Crate,
That's
right?
true.
Is that a safe assumption?
I feel like we're Le Batard Show fans' favorite podcasts.
Yes. No, yeah, you're right. You're right. You got it right.
Is that too like...
No.
pumping
It's like
ourselves up too much?
If you're a fan of what we do and you listen to Mystery Crate, Mystery Crate is your favorite pod of all
It's
the
your favorite podcaster fan's favorite podcast.
Favorite podcaster fan's favorite podcast. Let me write
Think
that
about
down.
that.
Favorite
Yes, Chris, we were watching you.
podcasters fans.
Yes, fans of podcasters, not of the podcast.
Oh,
per
How many
se.
people watch Mystery Crate these days? Because I have to apologize. I didn't put any makeup on, so I'm super shiny today. If anybody's watching.
We were
think
all
you look
thinking
great.
it. We were all thinking it.
I know. You're
Everyone
shiny
said,
too.
man,
You're
that guy's so
sweating.
Yeah,
shiny
sweating,
right now.
sweating. Yeah.
Hey, Billy.
Jesse?
Hey.
Just kidding.
I don't think she's here.
No, because I would have gotten a little touch-up.
I don't think she's
A
here.
little shiny too.
I don't like your Trump there. I don't think she's here.
She's
not here.
I don't know. That's all I got. I have no idea. I don't know.
What was the question?
How many people listen? I know, like,
Thousands.
it's a lot.
Tens of thousands, really, almost millions per year. Millions of people love Mystery Crate. Chris?
I thought Chris was going to come back with a Biden.
Yeah, I thought he was going to do something there. He kind of stared. Can he hear us? I don't know if he can hear us.
Are you doing okay with the board?
Yeah,
guys?
something's happening right
you
there.
doing all right?
They're
Like I'm
speaking
talking
you
to
directly.
Chris, and you're just not
Do you
answering.
not hear him?
What's happening?
I don't. Did you
know who's
unplug the
skating?
headphones?
You know who's skating right now? Mike Fuentes, because you should have made sure he was set up.
Oh, now I
ready to
got it.
go.
What the hell's
Well,
wrong
no,
with you?
because who sits in this seat at any moment in time?
Usually,
Yeah.
no one.
He's also doing a thing because he knows what the fuck it was because it says right there.
We were waiting for you to do a Biden.
What was the question?
There was no question.
Man, what are you waiting for? What do you need?
You had Tony going though. He did. Yeah.
I was setting you up for a while, and then you just look at me
You're
like,
hey, Chris.
I didn't hear you until the last part.
For those who have or aren't watching Mystery Crate, the additions of the eyes and the straight hands on the Biden impression
are a must.
When did that come in? Because it's just amplifying it.
I don't know when it came in, man. I just do this natural. I just follow the impression.
Did you
I've
guys
never-
see Jimmy Carter turn 100 the other day?
He
He's
did.
still with us?
Oh my gosh,
didn't look it.
Oh,
looks
peanut head.
So old.
Yeah.
I mean, he is old. He's 100.
100.
I mean, they
Yeah.
wheeled him out into like a
God bless
shady
him.
spot underneath
Yeah.
a tree, and I was like, oh, I think it's a. Oh no!
I feel like in that spot we just post the tweet that he's 100. I don't need to see the
wheelchair?
The wheelchair being.
Well, it's also one of those
was
things
like a
where
gurney, really.
people post a picture of like the headshot, and then they say like, "News: Jimmy Carter turns 100," and you're like, "Oh,
Yeah, it's
okay.
like the Betty White stuff. Every
Yeah,
time
like
back in the day.
people need to.
she died finally, right?
Yeah.
She did pass away right
just making
after
sure.
people.
Odd way of saying that.
It
Tony.
was really strange. Right after People
Finally.
magazine put her on the cover.
I didn't say finally.
She
did
died.
I?
You said she died finally, right?
But it was a question mark, not an exclamation.
It's kind of like when you responded to me with my dad's party of it's a no for us at the moment. It's a no
Yeah.
right now.
It's a no right now.
With
By the
an
way,
exclamation mark?
It could have
how
changed.
did you guys talk about the party already? Because
We did. You haven't been here in like a month.
I
yeah.
know. Okay, it's been a week and a half. I wasn't at the party. I was out of town that weekend, and I heard it was a fun time. And what
By who?
did I?
No, it's fair.
By whom?
The consensus was at the end of the party that this was a party that it was cool to say you were at, but the actual time there, you're kind of
Really?
like, because it was hyped up here of who's going to be there when really it
Everyone
was
was
just
there.
a bunch of old people.
It was hyped
sitting
up as
around.
It was 70-year-olds?
It was hyped up as a party. It was more like a nice dinner for Greg with drinks.
Well, let's start
That
at the
sounds
beginning.
nice.
Were you imagining,
That
like,
was
Were you
nice.
there, Izzy, or no?
I was there.
Okay.
I was there, and I was wildly disappointed when Jess wasn't there. Anthony had asked me, my partner Anthony had asked me if Jess was going to be there. I was like, of course she's going to be there. And then an hour
Sorry.
later, I
You
found
walk in,
out
you're
she
like,
wasn't
oh, no,
gonna be
she's not there.
But Jess was replaced, so it doesn't matter.
Bye.
Taylor's girlfriend is now Anthony's
right,
best friend.
Anthony
Yeah.
Alfonso's long lost relative.
Yes,
They
correct.
have the same last name. Taylor's girlfriend.
You can't
and
replace
my
me.
partner. No, you're irreplaceable.
You
Thank
were
you.
replaced though.
Did
So are you apparently.
Well, I chose.
Who replaced Tony and Jenny?
Did Taylor introduce his girlfriend as his girlfriend, or have we now given her that label?
Well, I'd met her at the Bright Side for an old hockey thing. So I
But
don't
as a
remember.
girlfriend?
I mean, yeah.
Or are we
they-
just
they were sitting
deciding
next to each other?
this is a serious
No,
relationship
It's
now?
girlfriend.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's been.
They've been to multiple
It's
MMA
been
hangouts.
girlfriend.
No, I
together,
know,
too.
but I don't know if we're
The
putting
one that you were
labels
at,
on
remember?
this.
You were there.
Yeah.
Do you think she knows that by attending an event tangentially related to Mystery Crate, she would be talked
Brought
about
up.
on Mystery Crate? Because I met her and hung out with her a few times, and I've never brought her up because I don't know what's cool and what's not
That's
cool.
what I'm asking, if we're even allowed to be having this conversation.
Well,
why don't we
everybody knows her
bleep this
last
whole
name
thing
now.
out?
So,
Yeah. Nobody knows her first name.
Yeah,
though.
what is her
Right.
first name?
yeah.
Don't say it.
Nobody knows.
No, don't say it.
Jessica.
We'll call
Oh.
her Taylor.
Okay.
No, it's not. It's not
That'd be
Jessica. You're safe. It's not
wild,
Jessica.
right?
So the party, by the way.
Wait, that's my name. No,
when
it's not me.
Long
It's
day
at a
for you.
hotel, right?
Did you forget your name?
No, I was making a joke. It was a bad one.
The
Her
Catalina.
name sounds like Jessica.
The Catalina was the name of the ship, right?
Classic.
And
Catalina
you
wine.
walk into
Wine mixer.
the hotel that the ship is docked behind, and everybody's just kind of sad, waiting in the lobby there of the hotel, just kind of staring at each other.
Sad is a detail I wouldn't have put on it. But it was just, it couldn't have been a more lit, like, it was just like people at a bar getting a drink. Like,
Was it?
It was
it lit?
no, well lit is what I said. Because when you say sad, I
A
get
lot of
dingy.
lights. A lot of lights.
like
yeah.
it wasn't dingy. It was like a
Sorry.
nice lobby.
If it was darker, it would have been better.
Should
actually.
people
There
have
was
been
too much
dancing
light.
Yeah, that's-
before the boat? Like
Ooh, that
just
would've
like
been-
dancing and like
I mean, it felt like everybody was
fun.
just staring at the entrance to see who was coming
was
in,
coming
but
in,
not
yeah.
really being excited by any of it, not really greeting the people who were coming in.
So when you
and there was
walk in-
somebody on one of those like scooters because they had like an injury or something, like, and so it's just I don't know. I felt like it just felt a little sad when I walked into the lobby. I was like, I can't wait to get on.
People were hitting the hotel bar though.
Were they?
They were starting early. Yeah, that I did see.
The boat I liked.
Yeah, the boat was
The
nice.
boat was great.
Boat was nice.
the inside downstairs area could have had an updated interior. I'd say.
It felt a little bit like
Was
a
it
floating
decorated?
cafeteria. A little
Kind
bit.
of felt like a retirement home. What that would look like on the inside.
Were there like streamers and balloons or not really?
Good
My
question.
wife and Ashley put together some. I would
Who's
say
Ashley?
they weren't all over the place. Like,
Is that
really
Taylor's
neat.
girlfriend?
No,
Yeah.
a family friend. And there were pictures of my dad all over the
Those
place.
were pretty cool. There's are decorations everywhere.
Ooh,
There's
pictures of
matchsticks that said
Greg.
back in my day, sticks made fire.
Cool
It
party
was
favors.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Do
The matches
people
were cool.
that aren't listening to the show like understand the back in my day bit?
That's a good question.
Thank you, Billy.
Yeah, that's a good point. There was a lot of like the cupcakes had like Greg Cote Show like logos on it, so it had to be there had to be, to your point, there had to be a few people there that really weren't keeping
Really?
up with my dad's.
Arlene's colleagues were like, "What the?
Yeah.
What is this?"
Everything about the party was exactly what I thought it would be.
Exactly.
I actually thought the food was really good.
Yes.
Like I was, and I knew
Oh,
for
then
a
it
Greg
sounds
Cote
great.
event, like it would have to be.
Good
it was
food
just-
and good
food.
drinks.
But it was just standard. The drinks could have been a higher level of
There was
liquor.
one thing that sort of caught me off guard is basically after Dan gave a speech that nobody told him he was supposed to give.
Dan
it
gave a-
became
That's not true.
Dude, the Friday before the show, I literally said on air, "Hey Dan, my dad's expecting you to talk for 10 minutes."
Yeah.
And, like,
knew,
and then
knew.
he gets up there. He's like, "I had no idea anyone wanted me to talk," and I'm like, "I told you 2 days ago that he wanted you to talk for 10 minutes."
10
And
minutes.
I sent him a text. I said the guy who followed you was clearly like trying to put up a stand-up act.
Was
like,
like, oh, that was Brad. Yeah, Gary the Bag talked.
No,
and then
sport jacket guy was the
Brad.
guy,
Yeah, that's my mom's
Gary the
coworker
Bag.
who is known to be a good roaster. So my mom, I think, pressured him, even though
Oh, he went up there like full comedian mode, hand in pocket. Oh, but seriously, guys, like it was a complete stand-up bit. And I thought after Dan that was going to be it. That was going to be it. But then it was just
I wish
open
that was
mic
it
night, one
after
after the
Dan.
other after the other. You and your brother were great. Dan was good, and Gary the
wow.
Bag.
Did Dan
was
just
really
reread
good.
his speech that he already wrote about Greg?
he played the hits with my dad about, and like if you've heard Dan talk about my dad before.
Did he bring up nachos?
He did bring up the nachos going to his house.
let's go.
Were, after the first few minutes of Dan's speech, were people like looking around to make sure Greg wasn't dead, or
Did he sing "Wind Beneath My Wings"?
Talked about beers in the garage for sure.
Chris got Greg musty-eyed though. He did when he whipped out the book.
Musty-eyed.
The
Musty-eyed.
folder, misty-eyed.
Musty or misty?
Well,
Now his eyes are smelly.
Yeah, smelly, disgusting.
when you cut
His
onions,
eyes
you're
were
like,
disgusting.
Misty-eyed.
kind of like she did with Brad. My mom built this up with like everyone needs to talk and it needs to be funny and heart. Like so, I was feeling pressure, so I busted out the old stat book that my dad made for me in high school.
Yes.
So it was just
Aw.
like kind of where I made fun of it a little, and then I brought it home. How it was like.
No, you hit him with this taught me how to parent
Oh, no,
line.
no. I knew I had this line. No.
Dagger.
The exact line, it was like, I'm never gonna have a more cherished item. This makes me a better parent.
Yeah. Dude, that one just got Greg right.
You literally heard the room like a.
Dude, he had the room eating out the palm of his hand, and then his brother came in with like
Amin was there too, by the way.
dick joke.
Yeah. And then my brother was like, I had something funny I wanted to say, and he didn't let me say it, so I'm going to just do that now, even though Chris just ended it the way it should probably end. And my brother went on for another minute. It was funny.
Good stuff.
Yeah,
It sounds like
loved
it was
my
a
brother.
nice time.
I said we got to bring his brother on the show, man.
My brother went with the let's make fun of my dad. Didn't really hit the heartstrings too much.
He's more of a
You're the
comedian
older
guy,
brother, though, right?
Yeah. I'm older.
Yeah. That's your job.
I'm the responsible and like
That's your
heartfelt
job.
one. I'm the one that really brings it home.
You're the responsible one.
I
You're the
honestly-
serious one.
Can we bring your brother for a mystery crate?
You could.
Because Amin had a good point. Like, we should bring your brother on and like.
Can we call him? Call him Kyle?
Oh yeah, call Kyle.
What is he doing right now?
That would really confuse him.
Kyle Cote.
Is he doing anything?
He's working.
I saw a clip that made me think of your dad the other day.
What was it?
It was Jack Harbaugh. And this is why it made me think of your dad. So
Who's got it better than us?
yeah. So Jack Harbaugh comes out at like a Ravens press conference or something, and he just like does the Harbaugh chant that I guess that they would do
Yeah.
as children or whatever. And old Jack does the who's got it better than us, and then I guess you're supposed to say a very elongated nobody.
Yeah.
And then was like taken aback when the entire group of press corps didn't understand this is how you play this game. Like no one gave them instructions that you're supposed to say
was
nobody
like,
like
"Whoa,
really long and
what
like
the hell?"
yeah. So then he went and he did it again. And then John like did it, and then John like scoffed at like the press for not knowing this. It's like, hey, Harbaugh's like
Maybe we didn't need to bring that back.
We
Jack.
don't know all your family sayings.
nobody knows your family sayings, and that's why I thought of your dad because your dad will just throw in a dancing swords here and there, and he'll just say things, and we're like,
That kind of thing.
exactly, and we're like, is this a
mean-
known thing? Am I the one that doesn't know what I'm supposed to do?
There's so
here?
many of them that Me Maximum just came out last month. Or
Yeah.
something like that. It's just going to
And
spill out a few more.
Jack has like a birthday party, and they have little matches that say who's got it better than us, and people are walking in, they're like, "What the hell is this?
Yeah,
What
just,
is
like,
this inside joke
confused.
mean?"
Speaking of parties, can I make a quick switch to a different type of party? So you guys, I don't know if you remember last week I was on the show and I was mentioning that I was going up to Sarasota
that's
in the
right.
middle of this hurricane
Yeah.
for a bachelor party.
You
Hurricane
survived.
Helene.
Welcome.
Didn't go. I got a
Still
text.
survived.
Yes, I did. I got a text from someone who lives up there who said, "Yeah, I don't think you're going to even be able to get to Siesta Key. They're going to block off the roads or whatever." And I was like, "Sweet, don't have to go." But
Is the person listening to this that?
oh, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
And so I already knew going up there that it was going to be a lame-ish bachelor party because A, it's both bride and groom combined, and
Yeah, combined is not
it's
good.
weak,
Very
right?
lame.
Let's not do
Very
combined.
lame.
There
Yeah, very
weren't a
lame.
lot of plans.
Tell me
other
you're
than-
lame without telling me you're lame.
Conjoined bachelor party.
There weren't a lot of plans other than staying in the condo that's on the beach. So it's going to go to the beach and come back inside. And here's the craziest part: 2 kids allowed, like
What?
toddlers, like because one of the bridal party or couldn't find a babysitter or whatever. So didn't go to Sarasota, but the bachelor party got moved to like Margate, which is down here in like West Fort
Even better.
Lauderdale, and it's just a pool party
Really
on a
sad
Saturday.
place. Really bad.
Margate sounds terrible.
Absolutely
Isn't
the
it
lamest
Marigato?
thing I've avoided bachelor parties my entire life. When I was closeted back in the day, I was like, "Oh no, thank you, I've got something to do," because I've always thought that it was just like ridiculous. There's sex everywhere. There's secrets that are being kept.
I mean,
and
isn't there?
I don't know. That's why I wanted to ask you guys before I give you the details of my sad bachelor party. I want like no names necessary, but I want the best details of bachelor parties that you've been to because I imagine that
You've
there
still
may
never
be
been on
fake
one?
and not a good. My bachelor party. You know what the highlight of my bachelor party was?
What?
Watching the Book of Mormon on Broadway.
Oh, that sounds
took
fun.
3 or
though.
4 friends went to New York for a weekend, and
Love
that's it.
Broadway.
That was it.
Wait, Izzy, you're gay?
Check that box.
I've been to like fun bachelorette parties, but not like nothing like
Nashville?
insane. No,
Scottsdale.
Miami actually.
Oh,
Just different.
close.
I don't know, different places.
Nashville's
but
the
like,
mecca of the
Yeah.
bachelor
I haven't
party.
been on any sort of like
Scottsdale
crazy
would like
bachelorette party where like someone got arrested and there were strippers everywhere and like everyone was going crazy. But
Okay.
I know some people to my right have been on parties like that.
Technically, everybody's to your right, but we'll start with Tony.
I've been to a couple bachelor parties here and there.
Haas's had to be a movie.
Haas's was fun. Haas's was fun down in Key West.
Have you been on any on like a cruise maybe?
Mine was on a cruise. Stugotz went.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, Stugotz was there.
You got, well, of course, that makes sense.
Stugotz got there.
We did a perfect day at Coco Cay. Wow. We did Atlantis and came back. Stu was there.
Did you get one of the floating cabanas?
We didn't. They weren't even built at that time. That's how long ago I went. Back in my day, we didn't even have floating cabanas.
Did you go up to the swim up bar?
Just dominated the swim.
that's
So did
swim up bar.
Haas. Haas dominated.
Swim up.
I know.
Swim up.
They got his picture up there.
Swim up bar.
Good and bad.
Swim up bar is a risky situation, though.
Why?
People get there early, they don't leave.
Swim up bar is goated, dude.
You got to piss at some point.
Well,
I see a guy there for 8 hours. I don't want to be around.
you've had
him.
about 11 beers.
Exactly, buddy. That's your 12th daiquiri. All right.
We did a
Gross. I
bachelor
never
party
thought
in
about
Chicago in the summer. That was nice. The illegal activities I'm going to leave out of it, but there was a lot of them.
Whoa.
Illegal.
Yeah.
I wasn't even thinking about illegal. I was just thinking about,
Insider trading, right?
There's a lot of white collar crime happening in those
Wage
places.
theft. A lot of wage
I was
theft.
just thinking about some
Wage
sexy
stuff.
time, but some illegal activity.
No.
Good Lord.
We decided as a friend group to abstain and be good.
And instead commit felonies? What'd you do?
How
Whoa,
moral
I
of
didn't
you.
say felonious.
White
I said,
collar
I said
felonies.
I said illegalities. That could be jaywalking. We don't know what it could be.
It's a good point.
Sounds fun.
Jay
Could be
swimming.
anything.
Chris, your best bachelor party?
I honestly don't have a lot of good bachelor party stories. I went to Montreal for one, which sounds fun, but it wasn't nothing great. Like we just
But I
went
heard
out to
Montreal
bars
is
and
like
stuff.
cool city. Like
Yeah, no, Montreal was cool.
In the winter or in the summer?
We went at a bad time. Like it was cold, so we couldn't.
I feel like Amin's been to just a killer bachelor party.
Never been to a bachelor party in my life.
No way.
You're
What
just
do you
doing
think
the
you
thing
go to
with
first?
tailgates. Like, do you just avoid?
What
fun
do you think
times?
you go to first, a tailgate or a bachelor party?
A tailgate because I think most of my friends are or would be married or married now. I've never been invited to a bachelor party. It's not like I'm not avoiding it. No one's ever invited me. And then
getting married
when
next?
it comes to like even being in a wedding party, I was a groomsman once, and that buddy didn't have a bachelor party. So, but I've never been in a wedding party. I've been to a lot of weddings. I'm a great wedding guest, but no one's ever looked at me with the
Mezcal?
It seems like the bachelor parties that you were afraid of growing up are mostly a figment of people's
Fictitious,
imaginations.
yeah.
Which I missed out on a
fictitious.
lot of good times. I
Yeah.
feel like what happened was I had one person tell me one story about like 3 or 4 guys sharing a hotel and then one of them like hooking up in the bathroom with like a hooker. And I was like, good Lord, I do not want to be in that hotel
That's a
room.
classic
That's
tale. That's a
Izzy,
whale's tale.
They just described the plot to Bachelor Party starring Tom Hanks. That's what that was.
I have seen that movie a dozen times, but
And
that
then
is
one of them
that
got
is not me confusing those two.
Kidnapped, and then we couldn't find him. And
was
he
on
was
the
on the
roof the whole
roof on a
time.
mattress
Hey,
on
that
the
was a
roof. It was
different movie.
crazy.
I have been to a bachelor
There was a
party
tiger.
where the
Mike Tyson was
groom didn't attend the bachelor party.
What?
So we
Nice.
threw a bachelor party for a guy who didn't go to his own bachelor party.
Honestly, seems awesome.
How do you like that?
I love that.
So it's
I
like
love
no
that.
rules.
You know,
Like
yeah.
anybody
So it was
can do
like
whatever
it was
they
like a
want.
buddy of ours who had been like he was the first of our friend group to get married and was like, hey, we're gonna do a bachelor party, we're gonna set it up for you, whatever. And he kind of like kept dragging his feet, and we were like, dude, like, let's go, like it's time, like you're gonna get married in a little while. He's like, oh, we could do something small, local, whatever. So we're like, all right, we'll get something in Hollywood Beach, hang out, or Fort Lauderdale Beach, my bad. We're gonna hang out for the weekend and then go back home. It's local, we could drive there, whatever. Guy ends up going ghost, not like heading us up. We had already gotten the Airbnb. We had already done all of the things, and we were
ghosted
calling.
his
We were
own
like,
bachelor
"Dude, where
party."
are you?" And he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm not gonna go." So we made shirts.
This is bizarre.
No, it's not. It makes all the sense in the world.
They got into a fight. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you go,
It's over. We made shirts of R.I.P. my buddy's name, and then we had a bunch of pictures on him, like an R.I.P. shirt that we wore.
And people thought your friend died.
That
Give you
is,
free
yeah,
drinks.
it's like
problem.
No,
with
no,
that.
it wasn't.
that would explain all the free drinks.
It wasn't an R.I.P. It was gone but not forgotten.
That's just
That's even
bad.
worse.
That's the same.
People kept
Same,
coming up to you and
same.
saying, "I'm so sorry," and you were like, "For what?"
Well, no,
Let me get you around.
you know.
And are they still together?
Kind of thing. Yeah, they have like 5 kids.
Shocking.
So there were toddlers invited to this bachelor party.
Well, before I get to that, I feel like Billy's like craziest bachelor party involves a lot of dominoes.
I mean, I don't know. I just
Pizza?
it's
Yes,
just like
probably.
an attack on my character. I don't understand.
No,
It's a
I feel
smear
like you're.
job.
Look, I think Billy is secretly the most family man in the entire company.
Secretly.
Like, he's just, I don't know if
Fan.
it's secret or if it's that.
Because of my public philandering? Like, what are you talking about here?
I just
Trying to
mean
cover up your public
You are
philandering.
Mr. Traditional family guy. Like, I just think, I don't know, I think of you and I think of
I'm boring.
a classic
Just say you think
Hispanic
I'm
dad.
boring.
No,
That's
not
fine.
boring.
You think of
boring,
two
I'm
dogs,
fine.
2 kids, the
Being a
backyard.
good dad is not
Jeez
boring.
Louise.
It's
not boring. That's fine. I'll own it. I don't care.
All right, so Big Domino's is your big bachelor party story?
Well, I mean, you're gonna make fun of me, but
Papa
my
John's?
bachelor party ended up at a dinosaur-themed restaurant. So
Ooh.
that was on the trip.
Wait, like a rainforest cafe?
Not Rainforest Cafe
In
though.
Disney
But like
Springs?
one.
Yeah, the dinosaur T-Rex restaurant
T-Rex
or something
Cafe.
like that. Yeah. I had nothing to do with the
That
planning of
sounds
it. We just
fun.
ended up there, and I was like, okay.
How about when the meteor shower happens?
Dude, super scary because you
never know when it's
this
happening, and
This
just
is
boom,
it
it
for the
happens.
dinosaurs. Like, this is the end.
Good burger at
I like
T-Rex Cafe, by the way.
the idea of like a day bachelor party.
Well, I mean, that's essentially what this was. All right, so they moved it. It was Saturday in lovely Margate, and AJ and I had a football game. So we played our football game. AJ got
Priorities,
concussed
by the
in the
way.
game.
oh no.
Yeah,
Is
he got a
okay?
concussion. No penalty, by the way. Terrible.
Got to throw the flag. At
And
least one of these, little targeting, huh?
and so it's his cousin who's getting married, and he's one of the groomsmen. But now he can't drink because he's got a pretty bad concussion. Feels like he wants to throw up.
Roll the
Really?
dice.
Can you? Because I tried to convince him that he
No.
could drink. No.
No, you
Just a
should,
suggestion.
you should probably just rest.
Listen, if
in
you
a
can
dark
watch
room.
MacGruber after a concussion, you can drink.
That was not probably the best choice at the time, Billy, but I
clearly
think,
the
I
choice
think
of a
about it.
concussed
I think
person.
about that every single day. I'm not lying to you.
All right, you're gonna have to give me the background on that.
To Mike McDaniel, that's all. you
When
need
Tua
to
had his
know.
first really bad concussion, like, well, he had before probably.
The one
but
on Thursday Night
the
Football,
Thursday Night
the
Football
first
one in
time.
The Bengals
Cincinnati.
one,
yeah.
The
He flew
gang
back.
signs?
Yeah, he flew back. And they
Mike
were like
McDaniel
asking, like,
said-
how's it? Mike McDaniel's like, oh, he was fine. He was sitting next to me on the flight. He was watching MacGruber. I'm like, okay.
It was just a weird detail, and
MacGruber.
everyone was taking it. Yeah, that doesn't look good. Black eye for Anthony. Everyone was being very serious, as they should be. And then he was like, "Yeah, he was watching MacGruber." It just was a really random movie to bring up. Just a
fits
really
too,
random detail. That
So is Anthony going to retire?
Well, no. He'll be out there on
not.
Saturday.
They're
We got a double
playing
header.
next week.
Hold on.
out there. We need him. We need him.
Call
out
the
there.
wrestler. see
I'd
what he
retire
thinks.
first from my busted ass finger. But he couldn't drink, didn't want to be out in the sun, and is one of the groomsmen, and they're already been going for 3 straight hours. So AJ's just sort of inside, laying down, and I'm like, all right, so I guess I'll be the life of the party. Go outside and hang out with some of the kids, literally. This one 2-year-old adorable kid just keep putting salami in my mouth, and I'm like smiling through it. I'm like, I don't really eat meat anymore, but thanks.
Did you eat or spit it out?
I ate it. Okay. And then, yeah, and it was just the worst thing when you go to a party is everybody being way ahead of you drinking, and like you have to catch up, and like, so they're all wasted.
Well, you
Their
don't
kids are
have
just
to.
running
It's possible.
amok.
You can do it, though.
And I'm just petting the dog that they say might bite you, so be careful. And AJ is just being very, calm and not really doing much. And I'm like, this is the worst bachelor party I've ever been to in my life,
Now, Izzy,
or I could ever go to.
I don't know how much experience. I know you got nephews and nieces, but when a kid hands you food, half the time it's not actually food that they're handing you.
Yeah.
All you got to do is go num 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 num. Oh, it's so delicious. You don't have to actually eat.
I
it.
was the
fake
third in line of the kid feeding the food to adults, and the first 2 ate it because they really wanted it. And so when it got to me, I was just like, I can't. I tried. I was like, and then he was like, just eat it. And so and he had like doubled up on the pepperoni, so it was just like, it was warm because it was outside.
Just
I
throw
was
a
like,
funny voice at him. You can say anything. Oh, I'm so full. I can't
I gotta work on
You're
that.
like, this guy's funny, dude.
He's right though. That works.
I'm the full monster.
Like 99% of the time.
And then they'll run away.
Yeah,
and
they'll be
that's
like,
it.
oh no.
They forget about the salami
Such a
very
good
quickly.
dad.
that is, Chris.
I'm a
Right,
good-
take
You're a
notes. What a
good-
dad.
I know
Tony,
you're a good
Tony, take notes.
father.
You're gonna need
better
this
uncle act. That's more uncle behavior.
A couple of good dads
That is uncle behavior.
back there cutting it up.
So what is that? A food monster of some sort?
Oh, man.
I'm gonna write that down.
You can also always use your hand as a proxy for yourself. Nom, 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 nom. You just do this with
Oh,
your hand.
smart.
Nom, 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 oh. And then same thing that Chris said. I'm going to eat you. And then you chase them
Yeah.
around.
Now I'm blank, whatever monster you need to be. Now I'm this monster.
Blank
My first
monster.
move was to try to feed it back to him, but he wasn't having that either.
No, you
so he
can't do
just
that,
forced
no.
it.
You're gonna do an
I
airplane if you do that.
We can't do it right now. I want to ask him in a little bit. But speaking of kids, I do want to ask Tony things that he's nervous about now that he's a few months from being a dad.
Yeah, man.
Nothing.
3 months before.
Getting enough time to play NCAA.
I don't think he's nervous about that.
I'm definitely not.
That's
gonna
happening.
find a way.
That's
I'll be
happening.
good. I'll be good.
Kid be
Kids
damned.
are asleep. I'll be out there playing. No, to be honest, it's like there's just a lot of shit to do. People don't let you know about how much there is to do in such a little time. Because
Have you built everything yet?
No, because we haven't gotten everything yet because the baby shower's this weekend. So we're getting all the stuff from the baby shower.
Okay.
Thanks for the
Tony, stop
invite.
listening for a second. Do we have to get him something? If we
No,
want
you
to
don't
invite
have
us
to
to
get
the
him.
baby shower?
No,
Can you send the registry to
I
us?
didn't want to do that.
And
figured
then
out
we
the
can send it to
registry.
Dan, and
All
then
right,
we'll
I'm
send
gonna
you the
find
most
it and
expensive
be
thing
like,
from the
guys, please buy me
registry.
something.
that's
Like,
true.
This is weird. I don't want to do that. The
Well, maybe
registry's
do
almost
two-
done, by the
two
way.
separate registries, one for Dan.
Wait, the
only, and then
registry's
one for-
almost done?
I invited Dan
We got
to my
about-
wedding, and he didn't get me anything.
Gift's going to be a no for me right now.
That's fine. That's why I didn't
He
want to
owes
skip
you
the
something.
registry.
Neither did Tony
What do you
Reale.
do? What do you do when people say, "Hey, let me know when the registry comes out"? I think it's a little cheap to be like, "Hey, the registry's out. Can you buy me something?"
You know what
I
you
don't
tell
like
them? You tell them we'll be right back.
that. Okay.
It's time for
Betcha.
It's brought to you by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all they have to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Chris, you have anything to say?
Not today.
Okay, thank you.
DraftKings is a gambling company.
There you go. Yeah. Well, there's a bet. DraftKings has a special on the London game, which is Vikings-Jets this week. And it's Justin Jefferson to score more touchdowns than the New York Jets, plus 650.
Ooh.
So if he gets 2, that might be a cash.
If he gets one,
Might be a cash.
it might be a cash
Yeah.
because
Minnesota
How's
Vikings
Minnesota's
defense.
defense looked? It's
Good.
good.
Very
right?
good.
they're like
Yeah.
top
Boy
5 in
over
the
there.
league.
Yeah, very good.
Brian Flores and them boys.
Yeah.
I mean, if Brian Flores didn't have the inadequacies as a head coach,
You can make
that
the
he
argument
displayed,
best defensive coach in the league right now.
You would say like if he was a coach right now that didn't have that, be like, hey, that guy's a head coach somewhere.
If the Tua thing never happened.
With Belichick
Right.
out of the league, who are the defensive minds right now?
But
Mike McDonald.
How
Dan
much
Quinn?
Vikings have you watched? Because is it just a bunch of cover zero blitz and
Their
then they're going to
defense
figure
is
it out by
strong.
week
Oh,
5? Because that's all it was
They're
over here.
disguising everything.
They've been good.
the
Okay.
blitz,
It's been
the way
really
like
good.
it's one of the remember the Flores defense. It's like there's like 8 guys at the line of
you don't know-
scrimmage,
you don't know
and then
who's going.
they change it up like every play.
I will say, I try to disguise defenses all the time. You get that one person who's running for his life right after the snap and trying to get into position. Just play that guy.
Yeah,
Just
right.
look at
Just
the guy's
switch
back
over.
who's trying to run to a certain spot and like, I know where I'm going with that.
Right.
And I feel like that's what everybody does. When you disguise, sorry to get too football-y, when you're
Defensive coordinator
disguising
talk.
all
I'm
that
I'm locked
stuff,
in. Hold on, I'm locked in.
I like who was it that I was Baltimore. They're more left-right. Who's going to come? We don't know. And that person doesn't have to bail 20 yards back to cover the safety. So I feel like a lot of times when you're disguising stuff, you're just overthinking it and you're putting your team in a shitty position.
Put it on the scroll.
They gave
Brian
up-
Flores overthinking shit.
They gave up
Is
6
he
points to the
King-
Giants.
Kingsbury over here.
Yeah, not a big deal. Big okay, whatever.
sucks.
17 to the 49ers. Purdy after he had that clip where he's like, "Yo, your coverages are crazy." You remember that clip? Then they only allowed 7 versus
Stroud
the
got
Texans.
sat
Correct. The
in that
Stroud.
game. They
And
sat
then
Stroud.
31-29 was the final against the Packers. They got figured out a little bit in
It
the
was
second half.
no, hold
but-
on. It was 28. It was 28
28-0.
nothing.
Yeah.
And then they just basically relaxed on
Yeah.
defense and were like, all right, who cares?
So I do kind of like that Justin Jefferson.
I don't hate it. Plus
yeah.
650. I don't
Wow,
know.
we're still on you betcha, huh?
Yeah, we are. But if you want something more traditional, Commanders money line, Vikings money line, Baltimore Ravens money line. It's going to give you, at the time of recording, plus 349.
So Washington money line.
Yeah, they're at home versus the Browns, the Vikings in London versus the Jets, and then the Ravens on the road against the Bengals. Who have
What
been
do you think
struggling.
about making you betcha?
You betcha.
What do you think about making you betcha like a real passion bet? Like we do all the, you do all the Thursday Thunder. You do
Against the spread.
Are
Against
you
the
saying
spread.
that Fuentes just mailed that in?
No, I'm saying he
Mail it in
actually
every
put
week.
effort into that. I was thinking like next week, Notre Dame's got Stanford. And if Jess
one.
just picks
After
a
the
Notre
bye.
Dame parlay, right? Because this week's the
a
bye,
bye.
and then so if Jess next week picks a Notre Dame parlay, like she'll actually not really have stakes on it
It's
unless
skin
you
in the
want to do
game,
it, but it'll feel way better if it actually hits, and people are going to trust you on that. They'll probably actually make the bets.
I don't bet on Notre Dame.
Wow. How
don't do
pious
it.
If you
She
were,
just pooped on that idea.
Not
Let's play a game called
not
What
for
If.
Religious.
the
That's a
music.
good idea, actually. Not for religious reasons or anything like that.
Why are you saying it to
I'm
me?
not religious because you said pious.
I know. It's just very like.
Just so you know, Inter
holy.
Miami's my passion, and I did Inter
Bet on
Miami
them
bets like 7 weeks in a row.
Every
So-
single week. Inter Miami's
Inter
your
Miami's
passion.
That's your
your
like you make that seem like that's your number one passion.
Yeah, that's your passion. Huh?
You're just doing a thing.
Let's talk about that.
I like that you're wearing a White Sox hat right now.
Oh, I know.
It's very bold.
Yeah, draped in failure.
Yeah.
But
draped in fan.
well, I told you
the
my
losingest.
family's from Chicago
Yeah, I
originally.
know.
Yeah, well,
You've never said that
not
before.
Cuba. I mean, I've had conversations
yeah,
with Jess
his
about
dad,
it.
right?
Yeah, well, my dad
dad
came
grew up there?
from my
Was.
dad left Cuba when he was 8, and they went to Chicago, and then my
So did my
grandfather
mom.
was a steel mill worker. My uncle was born there. Then they moved back to Florida when my dad started high school. So he elementary, middle school years were up there, and they came down.
What's moving like
Moving to a different city.
I got a lot of people talk about it.
Moving sucks.
It's
I did it.
terrible.
I lived at FAU. For
Moving
like
cross town
a
sucks.
year.
Imagine a different state.
Moving from
I've
Dayland to
moved-
West Kendall sucks.
Moving to Boca was a thing.
I
was
moved
hard.
to a different state. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think 5 times I've moved out of state.
And like moved all your belongings,
Like my
you have
life.
a truck and stuff, or just fit it into a car and go.
Like the last time I moved, I sold everything and then just started fresh in Florida.
Is it possible to move without crying? Because I feel like I would cry every time.
Yeah.
Like moving apartment to apartment, or like from
just like when you
city
like
to city.
when you're like closing that New York door.
When I moved from New York, I was really sad because I had to leave Willow behind.
Yeah.
And my boyfriend, but mostly Willow. 'cause
Mostly Willow.
she
But if you brought them with you, would you have been?
Well,
Your,
they've
your
since-
boyfriend
they've since
understood the
joined
change.
me.
While
But at
Willow
that
was like
moment,
a.
though.
At that moment, what do you mean? Like would I
would you have been as sad because you said you were sad because you were
No,
leaving
because
Willow?
like to an extent, like when you're leaving a place, like you never know if it's going to be permanent or
Right.
not, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I could move back there.
Yeah.
It's if my heart was pulling me there. and
Keys
I
under the
really-
mat.
Exactly.
But was
Like
it always
Dwayne Wade.
was it always
Wait.
understood that Willow and Lee were coming eventually, or was that always up in
The
the
thing
air?
is
You
that
didn't- like,
Lee
was there
is a
uncertainty?
human, so Lee understood more.
no,
And Lee
no,
could
but
fly
And the dog
to
was just
Miami.
like, she's gone forever.
Willow was so like it was really devastating. My friend took a picture of me, and Lee was in Tokyo at the time, so I was just with
Classically.
Willow. I know,
Always somewhere.
He was at the Olympics
Always somewhere.
for work, and my friend stayed the
competing?
night.
what was this competition? Is it diver?
My friend
Archery.
stayed the night and was like with me up until I left for the airport, and she watched Willow while Lee was in Tokyo, and so she took a picture of me and Willow like hugging goodbye, and it was really sad. And then I would occasionally go back to New York to like see her and Lehman, obviously, because we were still dating, but long distance at that point. And every time I would see her, she'd get really excited, and then I would leave, and she'd see me pack up my bag. And there was one time where she was outside, like on the sidewalk on the block, watching me get into an Uber and drive away, and she started freaking out and like crying and was like trying to get to the car. And that was when that's the shittiest I've felt in a long time, because she knew I was leaving for a long time and I couldn't bring her with me.
I don't think she knew that.
So sad.
I think me and Chris are the only ones that haven't done that big move, right? Yeah, we've been.
just to college.
And now she's
Yeah.
back.
But then I was, even after a year of that, I'm like, I can do this from home.
That's the only time I've ever felt when I was leaving home for college at 18. The only time I ever felt, oh, goodbye home or stuff like that. But like, I remember moved from one home to another. I haven't moved like cities. unless
Moving
it-
within the same city, not sad.
No.
I've never cried moving
More of a
within
pain
the
in
same
the
city.
ass.
Just a huge pain.
Huge.
You're too stressed to
any
feel
move's a pain in the
anything.
ass. Yeah, any move's a pain.
People have said that like moving is as stressful to a person as like a loss in the family or a divorce or like all these other very stressful situations, and we just don't
Like
for
a
some
life
reason-
change?
Yes, like we don't really ever give ourselves credit for how stressful it is, but it's very, very stressful most of the time.
Even if you get movers, it's still pretty stressful.
pain
Which
in
I've
the
always
ass.
said, movers is one of the expenses that is worth it no matter what.
Yeah.
And they're
And
not
painters.
even that expensive.
And
Painters is another
painters.
good one.
Christ.
I will incur the moving expense every single time. Jess hooked me up with the company that she used, and they were awesome. They were great. I did end up being the third mover though, which
But
you
that's
know,
something you
That's,
don't.
you
But
know,
that's something
yeah.
you don't learn until after the first move.
Bro, you gotta have a bad back, dude.
Yeah, that's the thing too.
My
I've
back
never
is
had
killing me, bro.
a lot of people.
Why do you think you're here?
A lot of people, I feel like their parents have always helped them move and stuff. My parents, like my mom's been like disabled my whole life, so I've never had parents to help me like move from place to place. So I'm always on my own. And the last thing I want to do is be like, "Hey, friend, do you want to help me move?" Because like you never want to put someone in that.
I think we
position.
helped you move once.
You
Yeah,
guys
we did.
help
We
me.
did help you.
That
Now
was
that I meant
that
that, I
was
think about
actually
it.
like that was
That was a dire
that was
necessity.
Bug related
Ooh,
or
that
it
was
was
roach.
the cockroach infestation.
Yeah.
That was
Oh,
my
yeah,
first.
yeah,
so I
yeah,
left
yeah.
my dog and my boyfriend in New York and moved into a roach den, my first apartment in Miami, and like that was
It
not
was
a
nice
move so much.
outside of the roaches.
Of
It was more
course,
just
it
like
was-
bringing stuff. We just like
I
we just
fled.
stuff up
It
and
wasn't
back,
like
yeah.
I moved. Like I literally fled. Like I had to flee that apartment because
How many
there was-
days did you actually have to close your eyes and sleep knowing that it was a cockroach infested
Lehman.
apartment?
Like over a month.
I don't know. I couldn't have done that. I would
So
have been
the-
in absolute insomnia.
The final straw, like this was so, it was so straw. I don't like bugs. I mean, I don't know anyone that likes bugs, but like I really hate cockroaches, and there were so many of them. The final straw was one night I was like, I had seen like a bunch of them in my apartment, and I was like really upset already that like, I kept seeing them, and the exterminator had come multiple times, and like they kept coming back because they were living next door, I think. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna get through the night and I'm gonna deal with this in the morning. And I go to put on my jammies, and I pick up my jammy shorts, and there's a roach inside my jammy shorts.
No, that would have been it for me too.
And I was like, I'm done. And
Inside the clothes, like it's one thing in the kitchen or like somewhere where there's food or whatever, but like in the clothes, in the bed, like
yes.
nah, we're done.
Thank God I had literally one friend. I slept on her couch that night, and then like probably the next week was when you guys came to help me flee.
Have you ever been laying on a bed and heard a cockroach crawl on said bed?
Oh no.
Because you can hear it.
Yeah.
If you have your head on the pillow, all you hear is
One of the many reasons I sleep with white noise.
You hear them showing up like.
Ew, I hate that.
Yeah, that
no.
was.
That's what would scare me is if I were to fall asleep, if one of them were to crawl into an orifice, particularly my ear.
Yeah.
Well, you hear stories about that too. Like people find
go to the hospital.
XYZ bugs somewhere it's not supposed to be.
I think I've told this story before on the podcast, but like there was a roach that was so big that died in my apartment that I asked Whitty if he would come kill it, or it was already dead. But yeah, I asked him if he'd come pick it up because it was like literally the size of my palm, and its leg was so big. It was like one of those like leg lamps, and its leg was like so like big, it was just like laying up in the air, and it was like the size of my leg, and it was just like this long shapely cockroach leg sticking up in the air. It was huge.
How did Whitty respond? Like, does he like
he was like okay,
does he get into like hero mode, like I will save you, Jess? Yes.
He was like no, this is Whitty. Yeah, it doesn't really, cockroaches don't really bother me that much. I'll come over. I was like, okay, are you sure? He's like, yeah.
You told him it was dead though.
Yeah. I was like,
I'm like that with Whitty.
Me too.
Like, my wife is like terrified of cockroaches. Like whether they're alive, like they're just a little, but like they're not gonna attack you.
Yeah, let that thing start flying.
Yeah,
let it start.
You know
flying.
that thing?
down.
I'll fucking box the like what?
I have an admission.
Catch that thing.
The giraffe. I've stepped on a cockroach to kill it barefoot.
Same.
Oh, I've done that.
ew,
Yeah,
gross.
I didn't have anything with me. I'm not gonna let him get away.
No.
Yeah.
No,
Buddy, your
Get
time
away.
is done. Boom.
There was a dead one the other day. I just grabbed it with my hand.
Hell yeah, dude.
Nah, I didn't. I grabbed it now.
It's disgusting. No,
Flush them down the toilet.
It's one thing to have a cockroach. It's another thing to have cockroaches.
many cockroaches.
Right.
Many
Yeah, a lot.
cockroaches.
Yeah, one I can
And
deal
they're
with.
all alive. The only one that died was the big one with the leg.
I wonder
That
what
one was
happened to
dead.
him.
How was it? One more time with the what?
The leg. The leg was like this, straight up in the air, and it was the biggest leg I've ever seen. It was ginormous.
One time I was stuck on at my aunt's house.
Deserted island?
It might as well have been. It was a lazy boy recliner, and I was there by myself. I had skipped school, and
That's what happened. See, you skip school and look what happens.
I saw a mouse cross the living room.
Oh,
I stayed on that chair.
Did it move?
Until they came home. I did not move. It was like 4 straight hours. I didn't move. I am terrified.
Did you watch
of
TV
mice
or
and
just
rats.
sitting there looking
I was
at
watching TV. I had the remote in my hand, but I was
thought you were just sitting there, like,
thirsty.
looking at the
I didn't go get anything to drink.
Mice, rodents, different animal altogether.
Totally,
Literally. Yeah, but no. So when my parents first split, we had moved to a house like way down in Cutler Bay, brand new development. Like our house, one other house in the block, everything else under construction. I had never had to deal with mice, rats, none of that stuff. This new house had mice, so my mom bought traps.
You hear 'em,
literally
dude.
at 2 a.m, you'd hear, and
Yes, dude. That was actually great. That was a great clap and mouse noise.
dude, that's what like you would hear that, and you knew it was suffering, and you would just hear, and then silence, and you knew he had
That's so
expired.
sad.
And I just thought to myself,
Wow.
I'm just gonna stay in my bed until my stepdad gets up, and he's gonna have to pick that shit up. I'm not.
You didn't start thinking about Tom and Jerry and how sad if it was actually like a cartoon rat in there, mouse. No?
After a while, the screaming stopped.
Jenny
I think I know
one
what
time had a mouse infestation. Not rats, mices.
Mice.
And they were like mice, whatever.
Meese.
And they're like
Mices.
tiny. They're like little tiny mice, right?
Yeah.
And I remember one
My.
time we went into a cabinet and I went to get something like a Coke or a drink or something in one of those cabinets, and there was like
drinking Coke?
11 of them. No, because it was a long time ago. So there was like 11 of them in the back of the cabinet, and they all kind of looked up at me because they were like, they didn't know that I had opened the door.
11
Dude, like 11 of them.
mices.
And they were like, and I was like, slowly closed it back, and I was like, guys,
Sorry, guys.
we've got an issue.
It's a lot of meat.
We've got an issue.
Sorry.
There's a lot of mices in there.
When
And
you're-
we need to fix it.
So many mices.
Close the border for mice.
I'm on it, man.
We don't like them.
when you're being like the bravest boy in the situation, but you're also scared, like how do you pull that off? Because
It was the slowly closing of the cabinet and then turning
Slowly
to the family,
closing.
and I was like, guys,
but you couldn't freak out.
No, because then the mice would escape and run around,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So I couldn't make a large noise. So I tell everybody, hey, there's a serious issue in that cabinet. There's about 11 mice in there. So they set up traps in the different areas, and then you would hear it like,
Those are mice dying for the people that don't know.
Getting caught into the snap.
And I know it's like brutal.
Did
like
you count them real quick and then close the door? Or why 11?
No, it was a post-
He's like a referee at a football
post
game.
count.
He's like,
It was like a
I've got-
post count.
No, it's that I've got about I wouldn't say
So
I have
22 eyes.
yeah,
total photographic memory, but I have like half photographic memory.
that's what I think.
He's like, they're playing a 3-4.
So
He
you know it
opens
wasn't
it super
10.
close, just enough
No,
like it's
maybe
into
not
the seat.
12.
It's kind of like when Brian Flores' defense at the line. You kind of just get a grasp.
You got to
for
figure
how
out
many are
who's
there.
who's blitzing and who's not. And I felt like there was about 3 blitzers on that mice that if I would have,
We might be a nickel.
it might have been dime. I don't know. It was an extra DB back there, but I kind of looked really quick, and then I just I felt 11 felt right. Sometimes numbers just feel right to me.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I get you.
When I
Speaking
look at
of
something, I'm like,
New York.
12.
I do have to say, while we're on the topic of mices, I was there for a few days, did not see a single rat. I think the rat czar might be doing their job. Did not see one single rat over several days.
Dude,
I'd be worried about that. Maybe they're like transforming into people now. So Tony, so you were talking about what you were nervous about being a parent. I want to ask you what phase of parenthood you are most nervous about, because I
Teenager.
haven't raised a kid myself, but I've been a part of sort
Very
of shadow
adjacent. Right.
raising kids from like age 19. There's one that's 1 year old right now, 1 year old. And I think there's just different phases, right? And Chris, you can back me up on this. Like from 0 to 1, it's just keep them alive.
Right.
Right. And how hard is that? Not that hard.
Well, that's 0 to 100, but I get your point. It's,
Yeah, but as a parent, that's the most crucial time where anything crazy could happen. Don't
But
roll
it's on
over.
me,
You know what
right.
I mean? Right. It's on you.
it's not on you. It's on me.
Right. So that part, don't think it's that hard. From like 2 to 5, it's when you sort of teach them to like they're either going to be spoiled or they're not going to be. Like you
Right.
got to teach them to like, hey, we love you, but you're not getting everything you want. Don't be a
Here's a
brat.
word you're going to learn. No.
Yeah. There's a finite window of like trying to teach them stuff like that.
Yeah, because you don't want them to get to school and then they think they're the center of the universe and everything belongs to them, and then they're just little assholes to
Right,
the other
exactly,
kids.
exactly.
So that part, I get nervous about that because I would want to give my kid the world, but if
you can't.
you can't. You got to keep them straight.
Because the world doesn't work that way, everybody.
Right.
Like the world doesn't give you shit.
And then when they get to first grade and they're 6, you go in for a teacher-parent conference and you're like, get told how well she's doing academically. And then they go, but her and this girl are fighting over this boy, Zachary. It's like, dude, I'm already dealing with like a love triangle.
Really?
In first grade.
That's
to me,
what
that
the-
wasn't until the
that's what the teacher
15-year-old.
told
Yeah, the teacher's like, she's great, she listens, but sometimes when her and Maya start playing with Zachary, they start like competing over him, and all of a sudden she's not like flying all over the place trying to like show off for him, and like the only time I ever have to like wrangle her in is when her and Maya are.
I thought from 5 to 10 is where you just kind of figure out how smart they are.
No,
or if they
well,
have like
that's
some
part of it.
special skill or something.
Yeah, I do like to be told how smart she is. That's a fun thing to feel, but. Yeah, dude, I'm already dealing with this shit. I can't believe it. They're 6 years old and we're already dealing with
that
this.
age is a little nerve-wracking to me because it's like it's out of your hands, sort of how smart they are, but you still want it to be good, right?
Sure.
It's actually very in your hands.
Is it?
I mean,
How so?
obviously, I think kids are obviously born with some sort of intelligence, but like how much you read with them, like how often you're keeping
True.
them away from
Lot of
YouTube
pressure.
and doing educational stuff. Like, I'm a damn good parent, is
Hell
what I'm
yeah,
trying
dude.
to
No,
say.
you are. You have that
Hell yeah.
one book that your dad gave you.
You know how to fake eating like a little piece of food, too.
She's
Oh, and
past
then I
that
can- I
though.
can do the fun,
She knows the difference now between you fake eating and not.
Well, she knows that there's a dad tax. Like, she knows I'm just getting a bite of something. But my daughter, she still kind of falls for all the games I play.
Does your daughter eat something you don't like? Or it's basically
She
you buy
has
all the
more
food.
my
so-
taste. Like, my wife hates a bunch of stuff, and Grayson's more on my side.
What does your wife hate? That
Pickles. And Grayson and I pickle
eaters.
Oh, I hate pickles.
I don't eat pickles either.
I like
big,
pickles.
I give
I'm
all
a
my
big
pickles
pickle
to
guy.
Jenny.
Big pickle
Like,
guy.
my wife hates mushrooms, and Grayson. My daughter, knock on wood, she might grow out of it. Eats like she's very good
She
about
eats
eating.
everything?
Yeah, like she'll try. Like
Your taste buds change every 7
she's
years.
not, but she's not going to
The
grow
one
out of
thing that kids, the thing I think you really got to teach them is just, hey, it's okay if you don't like what you're about to eat. This is fun. Try it, and you
if you
might
don't like
find
it,
it. And if you don't like it, you don't have to eat it anymore. But we try stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why she's learned of like, oh, I don't know if I like this. But some kids are like, if they don't know, give me chicken nuggets. I don't know.
Chicken tenders and ketchup.
Where
That's
it's
it.
like she
or
is
honey
willing,
mustard.
she's
Ranch.
accepted the fun of like, oh, this is good. Oh, I don't know what this tastes like. Oh, this is good.
Does she like anything weird?
Not really.
One time I was eating pancakes at IHOP, and I look over at this little girl, and she's just taking like a folded over pancake and just dunking it in ketchup and then putting it in. I'm like, oh my God.
Ketchup is
That's a parent thing.
Yeah, pancake into the ketchup.
You got to tell your kid,
hey, stop that. All right. There's the own thing for that.
I'm trying to think. She's dipped some weird stuff in ketchup, but I can't think of it.
Ketchup's universal when you're a kid. You can put it on almost anything.
Pancake.
But
Chris was
pancake
right.
was much.
Earlier, though, when he jumped and said teenager.
Yeah, terrifying.
There's the 15 to 17.
No.
Like, that's the scariest part. Like, you got to talk to him about, sex, relationships, everything else. And it's like, who addresses whom or whom's?
Even the middle school years are terrifying me because I'm like driving her to school and I just see these like kids and they look older and I'm just like, I don't like. What am I supposed to do when she gets to that age?
And like I'm
like, I don't know. Like
I'm an active
I'm like my
uncle,
head is already spinning with.
and
all
I've
that
got
shit.
two a niece and a nephew. They're both 16, and I'm like, I can't do it. Like I can't bring it up. I can't even ask a question.
There's almost like I'm gonna say it in Spanish. There's almost pena from both sides.
Yeah.
Because like as a kid, you don't want to talk to your parents or your like elders about certain things, and when you're a parent, you don't want to talk to your kid about some shit. And you're like,
well, the number one thing, and I've said this to all of you guys a bunch of times, is one thing I learned about our parents is, bro, when they were raising us, they were fucking winging it.
Oh,
because
for sure.
I don't know
Everybody's
I don't
winging
know
it.
almost anything that's going on, so there's no way they
You
knew.
should go the route where you just talk about everything, even at an early age.
I just want to like
Just-
learn how I'm supposed to react to things so I'm not doing damage.
But I don't think it's a
think
play.
when she
reaction.
tells
I don't-
me,
yeah, like, just
when
do it
she
the way you think is
says,
right.
I have a boyfriend named Zachary at age 6.
Yeah, that's-
Like, I do the thing of like, you guys are friends, okay? I know you're young and you don't know how this works. You guys are just friends.
he might be a boy that's a friend, but it doesn't.
Her
mean...
teacher actually said this at the thing that she tells the kids. Until you're driving, there's no boyfriends.
Oh, you've taught her well.
I'm gonna run with that one. The teacher says that she says that to the kids, so I'm gonna.
Oh, she says that to the kids.
Yeah, like I'm
Grayson's
just like
gonna go grab one of your golf clubs and be like, "Now watch this drive."
checkmate.
We got to stop those terrorist killers.
We do, man.
No, you're off the hook. Man. You're good.
Before your time.
The last
senator.
stage, which I'm going to find crazy stressful for anybody, is when they're about like 17, 18, when they're about to go off into the college age, about to become an adult. You're just like, are you ready?
Yeah.
Did I raise somebody that's ready to be on their own now? Like, do you have like a career that you want? Like, I know when I left college at 18, my older sister was like going to school but staying home. My two younger sisters were never going to leave the house. And so my parents were just like, hey, I'm sure you're going to do your thing. But like I look at my oldest niece now and she's in cosmetology school, but like still living at home. And I'm like, if she left right now, she would not be okay on her own. Like
man.
that to me has got to be
Especially
that
right
last
now,
step
dude.
is the craziest step.
Another one that I'm always wondering if I'm handling it right. When she says things she wants to be, do I need to like?
You're like, nah.
It doesn't make that much money though.
Yeah.
Like,
Maybe not that one.
That
Like,
teacher.
But I
What's
want to
another
be a
one?
podcast producer, Daddy.
everything she wants to do, it's like, oh, okay, that doesn't pay that.
I
Oh,
want to
yeah,
be
you
a marine biologist.
You want to be a hairdresser? Okay, we're gonna do for celebrities, maybe. Like, how are we gonna?
Instagram.
No, I just at this age, I'm just like, good. Yeah,
yeah,
you
you
can
say
be whatever
you
wanna
say
be.
yes to everything. They'll figure it out.
But in my mind, I'm like, oh, it doesn't pay that much.
My niece really likes to read, so she wants to like write books, and I'm like, ooh, like how many J.K. Rowling?
So
out there, right?
Ask Dan how lonely it is. Dan says it's super lonely.
To answer your
You
question,
should be
though,
a
Izzy,
comedian. It's the hardest job.
Yeah.
looking at all of those like parts of life, since I haven't been there as a dad, I've been there as an uncle because my Jenny's sister has 2 kids, and we've basically helped raise them like through the pandemic and through all that stuff. So I've seen what it is to raise kids, but now that like I'm the starting quarterback of the team, where it's like, all right, now it's you, buddy. You're getting the ball. You're going to throw it down the field. I still feel a little, I wouldn't say angst because it's not angst, but it's like the unknown of just getting the kid born. Just like the delivery day is kind of what my big focus
What
is
you're feeling
right now.
is anxiety, which
Yeah.
is something that happens, especially the first time you do it. Because I've noticed that my brother's about to have his second kid.
Right.
First kid, big deal, right? Everybody's going. We're going to the hospital. We got to do this. Bro, now I barely even know when that kid's coming. And I've already decided I'm not going to the hospital. I'm waiting until they get home. Like, second kid, nah.
Sure, but like since it's my first kid, and I
Yeah,
know what
you're
I'm
going to have
doing,
all this anxiety.
Now
yeah.
I'm trying to figure out exactly, and it's not even as much for me as it is for Jenny, right? Because like Jenny's,
Well, it does start off with the most traumatic event ever. Like actually giving birth to a child
Yes,
is pretty traumatic.
Correct.
Sounds
and it's
terrible.
like depending on how obviously it's done, if it's C-section, if it's natural, like, and the differences that come with both of those, like postpartum and stuff. So we don't know like which way it's going to go. She wants to have it natural, but it's not always like that. So I think like that.
Get that dural, bro.
No, she's gonna get the epidural for sure. She already said it. But it's like that part to me is like the most stressful right now. I'm not even thinking of 2, 3, 4, 15, 16 years down the line.
Right, one step
it's like
at a time.
day one. Like I'm a big guy. I have trouble holding small things.
Dude, I'm
And
telling
like,
you, you're gonna think that by week 2, you're gonna be flipping her like a pizza.
I know you told me that. You told me that. But like the first day, I'm gonna be like, okay, here you are. You're my baby.
You're gonna be overcautious.
You're gonna be playing NCAA like while holding her in one hand. You're gonna be
I always get worried when I see the pictures of dads that like they're passed out on the couch holding this like newborn baby.
Yeah.
And
They're
I'm
fine.
like, if homeboy has like one of those shivers,
just keep the kid on the
or
inside.
just like spins over.
Yeah,
Keep the
like
kid on
not
the inside of the
realizing.
couch. Inside of the couch. That's it. You're
Inside
good.
the couch.
Yeah, pointy side up.
Oh no.
Plus, my kid's falling off the couch. It's fine.
They're so resilient.
They are
They're
resilient.
so resilient.
They
My
are.
niece, the tip of her finger came clear off on my dad's
What?
wheelchair when she was like 2 years old. Grew back like a starfish. It's crazy.
Wait a minute.
Hold on.
What?
I'm so sad we're running out of time right now
Yeah,
because that
I have so many
requires a
follow-ups.
follow-up.
Grew
Yeah,
back.
Izzy, you gotta come back next week now.
Where's your
I need to
finger?
hear about this.
Is your finger gonna grow back or no?
No, that's just a full S form for the rest of time.